ויעשו כן, חרטומי מצרים בלותיהם. We find בלותיהם by Makas Dam, Tzvardeo, and Kinim. But by the matter that turns into a tanin, doesn't say בלותיהם, says בלהתיהם. Rashi brings down that Chazal in Mechech Sanhedrin Samech Zayin Mem Beis explain the chilik between lot and lahat. One is kishuf and one is maaseh shedim. Omar Rabbi Evo bar Nagri. Omar Rabbi Chiya bar Abo. Beloteihem, loteihem, elo maaseh shedim. Belahateihem, lahat, elo maaseh keshofim. Shemachishim pamalyo shel mailo. Omar Abaye. What's the difference between a shed and a maaseh kishuv? For a shed, you have to be makpid on certain utensils. The kopit amono, shed. The lo kopit amono, keshofim. Baruch says, batovo belot, beseiser. That's maaseh shedim. Just like a shed is not visible, you can only do things when they are covered with a special kelim. They use lachash to bring shedim. Lahat is lahat hacheref hamishapeches by Gan Eden. It's without a keli, is mishapech, changes into different things. That is kishufim. The Rosh asks Akasha, why do I have to know the difference between kishuf and maaseh shedim? Lemay nafki mino. So the Rosh says, one is mutar and one is asur. Keshofim is not mutar, maaseh shedim is mutar. That's the Shitas HaRosh. The Rama brings rayas that both are osur, even maaseh shedim. And it's a machloikes in Shulchan Aruch, whether maaseh shedim is osur like the Rama or mutar like the Rosh. Yeridea Kuf Ein Tes Zayin. So why is it that the Khartoumen use first by the Mate and the Nochosh Keshofim, and afterwards they use maaseh shedim? So in Sefer, Time of the Crow and so be masbir. At the beginning, Khartoumei Mitzrayim thought that Moshe Rabbeinu is using kishufim with a special kelim, with a mate, so they also did kishufim. But we have a klal, the Gemara says in Sanhedrin, Samech Zayin Mem Beis, that by Mayim is not shaykh kishufim. Mayim is mevatel kishufim. So how did Moshe Rabbeinu do makas dam by the Mayim? Elomai Moshe Rabbeinu did then maaseh shedim. So by makas Mayim dam, they tried to use maaseh shedim. Kishufim would not work. The Gemara says in Sanhedrin, Zeiri, he came to Alexander shel Mitzrayim and he bought a chamor. He gave him to drink water, and all of a sudden he turned into a piece of wood. It was a kishuf. So he went and he returned the piece of wood. So the kishuf machers told him, next time you should check it out before you buy. Who buys over here something without testing it with water to make sure it's not kishuf? If you put water into a kishuf, it will dissolve. So when it came to makas dam, they couldn't use kishuf, they used maaseh shed. Lot, not lahat, the same things with tzvardeo. It comes from the river, from the water. How about the kinim? The kinim were smaller than a se'ora, and a shed is not sholet on a brio less than like a se'ora. So they couldn't use shedim, and they knew already that Moshe Rabbeinu does not use kishuf. Then the Khartoumei said, Etzbo Elokim, it's not maaseh kishuf, it's not maaseh shedim, it's from the Ribono Shel Olam. Kanievsky Shlita. The Chochma says that according to Rab Shimon and Rab Yosi in Sanhedrin, Nun Vov Mem Beis, at Ben Noach is also to do kishuf, in Chayev Miso. But according to them, there's no Isur maaseh shedim, like Shitas HaRosh. So the first Mefes, Paro called the Chachomim and to Mechashvim and the Khartoumim. The Khartoumim do shedim, and the Mechashvim do kishuf. Since they could have done the Nochosh through maaseh shedim, it's not considered Lifnei Iver lo siten michshol, which according to Rabbi Yosef and Rabbi Shimon is a Isur. Rabbi Chida, and Afal Piken, they chose to bring the Mechashvim. According to Rav Shimon and Rabbi Yosef, and according to the Rosh and the Rama, is a Chiyuv Miso. It's not considered Trei Abri de Naharo. By Lifnei Iver, is not allowed to bring wine to a Nozir, to the other side of the river. But if he has wine in his side, you are allowed to bring wine to him, and it's not considered Lifnei Iver lo siten michshol. Once the Mitzrim used kishuf, and they were not choshesh for Shiva mitzvot b'nei Noach, they shovku heteiro vehichziku ve'isur. In such a case, it might be Lifnei Iver. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them the nisoyon of Damam Tzvardeo. It cannot be used al yidei maaseh kishufim, but they shouldn't be nichshal in Lifnei Iver. Mechech Chochma. The Chasam Sofer wants to say, even though there is no Lifnei Iver, but is misayeyo ledvar aveira. Even though he himself could have done the Aveiro, is over mishum al toshes yotcho im rosho. There's an Isur min Torah to sell to his friend a dover osur, or even to give to a mechalel shabboth wine if the wine is not mevushal, because the second he touches the wine, which is not mevushal, the wine will become osur like yain nesach, stam yenon. Also, there's an issue to give an isha a beged that is not tsanua, or beged that has shatnez to somebody which is not going to be bodek, or to give bread to somebody that is not going to be noitel yadayim, or somebody who's going to buy a kli that knows that he will not be tovel mincha shlomo, or to call a car service in such a often that he's going to be mechalel Shabbos. He calls him from the city to pick him up Motzoi Shabbos, and he doesn't give him time to drive after Shabbos, or to call a doctor to pronounce a death if the doctor is a Kohen. And even if the Isser is only the Rabbonon, like Stam Yenem is only the Rabbonon, the Isser is a Isser deraisa, Eitzo Sheheno Hogenes. Some say that even if the person was not Nichshel, he did not eat, he did not do the Isser, but the Meshaleach invited him to do a Isser. He told him to come Motzoi Shabbos, pick me up. He's already over, even though the Maaseh was not done. The car service did not come. He was not Chalel Shabbos, Chazonish. Mesayea de Mesayea. Somebody sells to a Yid, and that Yid is going to sell it to another Yid that is not Shomer Torah mitzvahs, and he's going to be nirshel by the second one. It's called Lifney Iver the Lifney Iver, and it's only also midei Rabbonon. The Achronim done on this sugya. There are 4 reasons why there is an Isser. Midin Tochecha, Lifney Iver, Israel Areven Zelozeh, and Mihilchos Teshuvah. Because if somebody is machshel somebody else, and must speak him ve'yodo lasos teshuvah, the oinus is so chomur that mekabel bimkomo eso onesh. Instead of the over, the Messiah is mekabel the onesh. Bimkom abal aveira. The pasuk says, Rashi brings down, venoso es avono maso lamet tezayin. Kamuvan, there's an iser to teach somebody to do an aveira, or to be meshabeach somebody who did an aveira, or to be mastir ma'asav shel ba'al aveira. All of that is bechlal mishtatev ba'aveiro meiri. To a mechal Shabbos, you cannot tell him be matzliach if the malocho is maleches iser. A machtes rabim elo chelek lo elo mabo. How is machtes rabim? He is matfis heterim and mefarsem dover ho'osur. That's also chilul Hashem. Ba'amumer is a machloikis between the dogol mervova and the shach. If you're allowed to give him dover osur, the shach is mekel. So a mumer, according to the shach, you're allowed to give him to eat, even though he will not make a brocho. A mechal Shabbos has a din of a mumor. The Yad Yitzchok says that a mechal Shabbos has not a din of a mumor. You have to be machmir. A tinek shenishba is also answer to be marshal him. Some say, like the one above Kamos Amachtes Amid Aleph, Haliteo la Rosho ve'yomus is a mitzvah to be mesayea to a mumor to be nichshel. Some say that's only beshev ve'altase, that you don't have to stop him or to give him musar. Memelo, you don't have to go and make an eruv to be matzil them from chilul Shabbos, but min hogei gedolei Yisrael to do peulos to be moinea them from being nichshel. Like Rabbi Sol Salanta used to tell the Mechalel Shabbos they should write with the left hand, or should ask the goy to write for them. But Yedua that the Chibid did not like those who put chains on the roads on Shabbos, that people should not drive in that street, because anyways they're going to drive. The Chofetz Chaim had to give his Sforim to the Mumar censor, to censor the Sforim. They used to write whether it's kosher or not according to them. The Chofetz Chaim was makpid to give it at the beginning of the week. They should not be nichshel on Shabbos. But that's because the Chofetz Chaim shita is that he gave him the reshus to be matfis, and that is considered oise melocho avuro. That's melocho that the Chofetz Chaim should be able to print. So if that's the case, if somebody is in the rental business, can he rent a car to a Mechal Shabbos that is going to use it on Shabbos? Because Moshe says, if you're the only one that rents out, you may not. But if a goy also has a rental and he can get it from the goy for the same price, then there's no problem. But you're not allowed to make it cheaper than the goy. It should come only to you. The Kapitchnitzer Rebbe, Zichron Lebrocha, once passing by a restaurant and he saw a Yid eating in Yom Kippur. The Kapitchnitzer Rebbe walks in and he tells the Yid, Agit Yur, do you know today is Yom Kippur? And the Yid says, yeah, I know. The Kapitchnitzer Rebbe says, and you should eat with appetite. So it was masbir. 2 types of mumur. Mumur lehachis and mumur leteovan. Which one is worse? A mumur lehachis. That's why he told the Yid he should eat leteovan, not lehachis chaz v'sholom. And he should have a ksiv v'chasim toiva. And of course that Yid did tshuva. Kayedua that the Kapitchnitzer Rebbe used to work together with Rav Moshe Big, Zichron Lebrocha. And any couple that had a problem with Shalom Bayis trying to get a get, Rav Moshe Big will not give the get until they speak it over with the Kapitchnitzer Rebbe. And most of the time the Kapitchnitzer Rebbe was able to do Shalom. They say that when the Kapitchnitzer Rebbe was nifter, the amount of gittim grew immensely. Yehi Zichron Baruch.